Okay, so good morning and welcome. I'm Alexis. I'm the founder of Fanfaire. And today I want to talk about 5 marketing activities that I would focus on if I were starting over. So I live in Los Angeles. I have a balloon decor business that started about 5 years ago. And a lot of the same things that I did back then, I continue to do now. And it is a myriad of things that is going to make you successful, but I'm trying to remove the clutter so you know where to focus first. And so I'm going to just walk you through what I've put together. Um, and here we go. So, like I said, the call's being recorded. If you would like to stop and ask questions or have any conversation about it. It's a little hard being up here just like me talking to you. So if you want to talk back, please feel free to do so. Okay. So, so like I said, I'm Alexis. Alyssa will be joining. She had an event this morning. Okay, so before we even consider going into doing any marketing, there's a little bit of pre-work that is very simple to set up. And I see a lot of businesses who have been around for even like a year, 6 months, 2 years who haven't set up some of these basic things. And these are just things that are table stakes. You've got to do it. It's not hard. It doesn't need to be perfect. A lot of people have analysis paralysis about getting things going and they want things to be perfect right out of the gate. I'll tell you, like, nobody's perfect right out of the gate. Just get something out there and then iterate. And you're going to have to go back and look at your business 1,000 times and keep making little tweaks to make it better. But just get some of these basic things done. So first and foremost, you got to look like you mean business. Show up online and in other places like you're a real business already. So like come from the mental like the vision that you have already been in business for like 6 years. Okay, like think about how you would look at a business if you're a consumer, and what does a legit business look like versus like an amateur. So just kind of like, and like I said, you don't need to make this perfect, but you just need to show up in the real world like you are a real business. Um so first things first, have a place for people to go. Um, Not just DM me on Instagram or whatever, right? We have a free mini site. Everyone can have this free for life, okay? This is a simple place where you can show off some of your work, where clients can inquire, and it just gives them the impression that you mean business, okay? Um, don't waste a ton of time on an expensive designer. I have seen this fail so many times where people spend $500 to $2,000 on a designer to make something look really pretty online, and their website is actually sending the client in loops of like, okay, click down and look at my columns, click down and look at all of my arches. That is not what is going to attract the client. They're probably already looking at all of your stuff on social media and they've seen all your pictures. And so at that point, they're looking to find out, are you available for my date and what does it cost? Right. So do not go down the path of making this overcomplicated thing. I've seen people waste 3, 6 months on making a good website. You'll get there and you'll spend the money when you've made the money. Don't spend it up front. And then don't spend a lot of time overthinking things. Okay. Um, Second thing, set up a Google business profile. This is completely free. And this is the one thing where who are looking for a local business, they go to Google and they're now going to ChatGPT. They're going to other AI search sources. This is still pulling from your local search area. They're looking for balloons near me, balloons in the South Bay, balloons near in Los Angeles, like balloon arch. They're looking for all of those things already. And the best thing that you can do is tie your business to a physical location. Um, it will tell you your profile strength. So it's going to continue to ask you to put information in there until it looks good, right? You see it right here. So it's super simple. It's free. It's a listing. My recommendation is continue to post photos here. This is where you should direct your clients to get reviews. This is proof of life that you're a real business. If you're not on there, people can be a little sketched out, right? Also, have your geographic location be like a region because that's what you serve, but your search will come up in peripheral areas. So don't worry about that. What I wouldn't do is say, I serve all of Southern California. Like that is a recipe for disaster. Like no one knows like, oh, okay, is it my area in Southern California? If you get a client who's up in even like I'm in LA. I just posted in the community like does anyone have any does anyone have a business in Santa Clarita? That is like an hour and a half for me. For me to drive all the way up there, potentially all the way back for a backdrop would be chaos. Like there and back is called 3 hours, right? If I have to go back or whatever, like that is such a time suck. I'll never make money on that job. It's just not realistic, right? So if you can get the clients in your area to know who you are, you're going to be a lot better off in the long run. Um, Google business profiles are going to say, hey, you got this $500 credit for advertising. It's after you spend some money up front. Okay. I would not start advertising too soon because you can run into a lot of things like if you put in a wrong keyword, you're going to get people who are looking for like a DIY kit or someone who's trying to buy balloons. Nearby like in a bunch and you don't sell helium. There's a bunch of things that can happen that you're going to be just like wasting that budget. And these are not things you want to do early on. And then the last thing is keep the name of your business consistent. So whatever you put on your Google business profile, keep that as consistent as possible. I know there's a lot of like repeat balloon business names, but like having other variations of that, you could potentially send someone to a business that's similarly named to yours, which you don't want if they go somewhere else, right? So if they type in their name here and they type in their name there, you want to just like have it exactly consistent everywhere. If they see it's a wrong variation, so it's say it's like South Bay Pop here and then it's South Bay Pop LLC somewhere else. So it might be like, is that the same business? Just give them the confidence it's the same business, right? And obviously you're gonna link your profile stuff here, but people sometimes just type it in, right? They don't just click the link. If you can get a domain, it's going to make you look a lot more professional, especially with like your email. So I'd much rather email somebody like hello@southbaypop.com versus like southbaypop at Gmail or, business name 123 at Yahoo, right? It doesn't give the client the confidence that it's like a real business that you've been in business a while, right? Also on your profiles and stuff, like let them know, hey, I'm a real person. Alexis is the owner of South Bay Pop. And now it's a real person behind the business. When you hide yourself or you have a suspicious email, they're like, is this a scam? Am I being catfished online? Like, who am I actually talking to? Another nice optional thing. So this was a fail on my part when we first got started. We were like, we don't want to put our personal phone numbers out there. And we just had email, we had like DM us on Instagram, we had a website, and we were missing out on people wanting to call to, and part of that is like verification. Are you a real person, a real business behind this, what I see online? And so just having that confidence of like talking to somebody does help a lot of people, especially people who are a little bit older, right? Like they are not used to doing business online. They want to know that they're dealing with a real person at this local business. So Google number is a nice way to do that. That is not free, but I have a business partner. We share that line, so all of the calls and texts go to both of us. So just as an optional thing, something to consider. And then on your social media accounts. So specifically, I see a lot where people will name their business and the description is not clear what they do, right? They're like, it could just say like, we do everything, or their pictures are kind of like they're still getting going. They're posting a myriad of like personal pictures, some balloons they did, some other like they also do cookies and cakes, and it's like kind of confusing. What are all the things you do? You don't want to appear like we do absolutely everything, just hire us, doesn't matter what it is, right? Like kind of like make it clear what you do. And the number one way to do that is just straight up say that what you do. Balloons, backdrops, event decor, like something simple. You don't need to make it fluffy. Just like straight up, this is what you do. Where you serve. I see a lot of people not saying their service area. And it's okay if you use like something slang like LA South Bay. People will know that that is the Los Angeles South Bay. But So if it's in your area, they're gonna know. If they don't know it, then they're probably not your client anyway, right? So that's okay if you want to use something shorter like that, but make it very specific of like where you serve, and then give them the thing to do, the one thing that they need to do. Telling them to DM you, that is, I've seen that a lot. It's not great, right? Because it's like people don't want to necessarily send a message to someone random. And sometimes if they're not following you, they'll send you a message and it goes into your that other folder. And then you see it like days later and you're like, ah, like I wish I had known they probably reached out to 5 other people right now, right? So that's just not the best flow. Give them the exact call to action. So mine is balloons, backdrops, and event decor. This is our tagline, environmentally conscious balloon garlands, serving the LA South Bay, fast and easy booking, tap below to design your custom event decor. So that is exactly what we want them to do. Um, so make it super, super clear. It's just literally those 3 things. Okay, this is another like pre-activity before you get into the marketing. So your strategy of how you're going to market yourself has to do with who you are, what you sell, where you service this area, right? So how is your business going to stand out? And so for new businesses, this is very difficult because you might look online and be like, we all do balloons, like how are we really different, right? So some of the ways that you can differentiate yourself are through who you are. So people know, maybe people know you. So my differentiators for my business are me and my business partner. People know us, they like us, they trust us, we're reliable, like they just know who we are. And so that is in itself, right? Um, it could be your buying experience. Obviously, as the founder of Fanfaire, that is a very important thing for me and for what I deliver with my clients. So that is a differentiator for us. It could be your unique style. Maybe your style looks very different than the people in your area. This has been something that we've been working on. We had kind of standard looking organic garlands, and we wanted to lean into a very like fuller organic style. And so we've been trying to change our style recently. And so we want that to be our differentiator. I would not say that that's our differentiator yet, but that's something that we want to do to differentiate ourselves from others because we don't see that style in our area. Um, some of the things that you can say are your differentiators, which may or may not be that different from your competitors nearby, but you're calling it out. It could be that you use the highest quality balloons. Your competitors could be using crappy Amazon balloons. You don't know that. You may want to call that out as something that is really important for your business. You guys care about the quality of the balloons. It has a bigger impact, and that's why your decor looks different than, the people right around you. Being reliable, the way that you communicate, you say you're going to show up at 10 minutes early and you do it. Your follow through, like all those things, like give the client this feeling that differentiates you from somebody else. Somebody may be very hands off, and the fact that you go the extra step to let them know the night before, hey, we prepped everything, it looks awesome. And then on the way there, hey, we're on our way, 5 minutes away, and like, oh wow, they're early, right? Those types of things like do actually matter, and that could be a differentiator. Um, having transparent pricing. Maybe you're just easier to work with. Maybe you're just easier to work with than your competitors. Maybe you niche down. Maybe you're like, hey, we do over the top gender reveals, and our thing is like gender reveals with marquee letters and daytime fireworks. One of our clients she's really honed in on this, and she has tapped that market, and that she is the go-to for that. You don't necessarily starting out need to niche down that far. Those gender reveals do turn into baby showers, right? So very quickly you want to capture those people too. So I wouldn't go too niche, but calling out exactly what you do, and what you do better than your competitors is something that you want to use in your marketing and how you describe what you do. So, same day delivery, there's all kinds of things that could be a differentiator. I built this ChatGPT app. It's free. I'm gonna pop it in the chat. Actually, I'm gonna wait to pop it in the chat because I want you guys to like listen before we go to the rest of this and before you go digging into that because you might get caught up in that. But this is something, it's basically a conversation to pull out all the things that make you different. And you should use those things in the way you talk about your business. So you'll use that as you go into all of your marketing. You don't need to know that right now for the rest of today, but we position ourselves as environmentally conscious balloon garlands. That is because we are near the beach. We care about the environment. We want our customers to care about the environment. There have been balloon bans near us, so we want to communicate how to, properly dispose of balloons, those kinds of things. So we want that part of our branding. And then we want to be like, it's easy to design and book with us. We're easy to work with, right? Um, you can pull out as many things as you want, but I would think about maybe like your top three. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. Like your top three things that make you different in your market. Okay. So now that we have like those basic things, any questions on any of those before I go further? No? Everyone has done all those things, or everyone's thinking about, I'm going to go just refine my social media profiles, or like you got it. Everyone's good, right?
I have a question.
Sure.
How did you come up with your business name?
Man, a lot of like sitting around with my business partner and my husband just like saying random things. What about this? What about that? You know, same with Fanfaire. We had a completely different name we launched with a different name with Fanfaire. And now that's the name of our company, and we DBA as Fanfaire. Um, man, it's a tough one. It's like naming a baby, right? It's actually harder than naming a baby, honestly. Um, just like spitfiring, just until you like naturally you kind of say it to a few other random people, like, what do you think about this name, right? Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of the names that you see out there on the big brands like don't make any sense. Nike, like, where did the name Nike come from, and what does that word mean, right? Like, there's a lot like Starbucks, like that sounds like a loyalty program to me. Starbucks, I'm getting bucks for the stars that I earn. Like, what does that mean, right? But it's coffee, right? So it doesn't, I don't know, like what sticks? I don't know. Anybody else want to share how they came up with their business name? How about you, RC? Diva Loons? Everyone must have just called you Diva, right? You're a diva. I didn't know.
Yes, hi everybody. So yeah, everybody now calls me diva, which is so funny because it was never meant. I was never meant to be like the diva, you know? Um, it's just so I come from the beauty industry, I've done hair and makeup like over 20 years and did all kinds of stuff. And I always had a motto with my, RC's love for makeup. I always said, let me bring your inner diva out. So when it came to the whole balloons, I wanted to bring a little bit of that sassiness to my business because that's really who I am. So yeah, I just kind of, but I did what you said. Like I was spitfiring things to my husband and, my kids and it just, that's how I did it. I just, kind of put two and two together. And a lot of people think it's because like of me, because I would consider myself like a diva. But no, it was just something that I would tell my clients and now it's a thing. So it does become like a personality in a way because that is your name to everybody else. Like for example, at conventions, if you go, that's what like you'll hear people be like diva, because they don't know my name. They won't remember or they've always just seen my screen name. So it's very easy, make sure you're okay with that. With people like Sis Balloons, everybody calls her Sis Balloons, nobody calls her by her name. So it is a thing. You have to make sure you're okay with people knowing you as your screen name.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone else want to share? That's kind of a fun question. Okay, so now that we have like the basics down, right? Um, if you don't have any of those things done, go back and revise those things. And honestly, like with Karen, like a week or two ago, we were just looking at her Instagram profile and we're like, okay, like let's just zhuzh this a little bit. Like let's just think like, okay, how are we gonna like revamp how we have her title on Instagram and then the description and then the call to action. So if you need help with that, um, we can do that at the end of the call or whatever. Happy to help with any of those things. Okay, so now that we we have proof of life online, we have a presence on multiple places, and we have a business-like appearance. What are some of the marketing activities? So if I were starting over, I would look at my existing network. So this is exercise number one. So like I'm gonna have you do a few things here. So this is the most powerful thing that you can do. You already have relationships with people. And I know people say all the time, like, your friends are not the ones who are going to support your business. It's someone random online. Like, truthfully, the people on here are people who support my business online all the time because we are we are all in it together. We're all doing something so similar in different markets. So that is very true. But the people who maybe are your friends, they may not want to buy from you or pay full price, but they will tell other people about you. And that is how I got my business going. Um, so let's see. First things first, I want you to pull out a piece of paper and we're just going to do a straight up brain dump. And I know you might be thinking, I don't need to participate in this. Like, I'm not, I already know off the top of my head, like literally do the exercise. This is very low effort. Like I'm gonna go grab a pen real quick. It's very low effort. And once you start to write things down, you'd be surprised what comes out versus you just listening. So grab a pen and a paper real quick if you don't have one. Okay. All right. So we're gonna write down every group that you're a part of. Do you have children? Do you have a group of girlfriends that you hang out with? Do you have coworkers from another job or a part-time job? Do you have couples that you hang out with? How about your prior job to starting this business? Are there people that you used to hang out with on a day-to-day basis and you talk to less, but they're in your area, right? Are your kids in sports? Do you do an extracurricular thing? Like, have you just started playing pickleball? Like the fastest growing sport in America. Um, do you ever, like, does your husband play pickup basketball? Like, are there, like, those are random things. Those are random thoughts, and those people might feel a little bit distant at the moment, right? But there are people that you see all the time that maybe they're not on your speed dial. You have like your probably, I don't know how many friends you guys have, but like, you know, 5, 10 friends that you talk to on a regular basis. A lot of them maybe don't even live in your area, right? But you see a lot of people all the time that you're not thinking of as like, close people that could be customers or could have a party, right? What about your neighbors, right? People just in your area that you see that you like. Did you walk around the neighborhood during COVID and see these people that you never knew lived there? Like you saw them every day for like 2 years, right? Do you go to a church? Are you in um, do you go to the same coffee shop every day and you kind of see these people around, right? Maybe you don't even say hi to them, right? Literally, like we have a coffee shop that we don't know these people. We see them, we feel like we know them. We don't even know their names. We never even talk to them. We just hi, right? Those are actual people within like in your like network, right? Do you go to a workout class? Do you go to a studio? Do you go to a gym? Um, Is there a new business that opened up that you've like swung into a couple times and talked to the owners? Right? Like these are people that are within your network who would recognize you on the street, right? And then there's obviously your very close friends, right? Um, so did you anyone write down anything that they were like, oh, I actually wouldn't have thought about that for my network? Okay, so like
Um,
go
I'm in
ahead.
I'm in a few groups. The only ones that I really never have even thought of a lot of these. So thank you for putting this down. But we are in a neighborhood. We're in a neighborhood group on Facebook. Um, and then like some mom groups on Facebook. Otherwise, I just have like small businesses. So this is really good. And as far as
Think
I know.
about people, hold on, think about people that you might even just like you consistently like see in your like little radius of where you live, right?
Right.
Those people are already warm to you, even though you may not have their number. because they see you all the
Okay.
time. They know that you're like a functioning member of society. You're in their neighborhood. They know your face, right? It could be any of those. So anybody else? So okay, so my husband just started playing pickup basketball. He's been complaining so much about how sore he is. Like he's he's like, I haven't played in like 5 years. I'm like, no, it's been like at least 10. Like, So the guys that come each week are actually different guys. And so through that, so my husband will always mention my business. And so someone else in the group actually mentioned for the event that we just did to another guy who's plays basketball that he was having his 40th birthday that I do balloons. And so we got a referral that way, which is so random, right? You just never know. And it's usually the people who are your friends and family, who are out doing these things too, that are having no time pitching you. It's you that has a hard time pitching you, right? So anyhow, with all these people that you wrote down, there's probably some in there that you really haven't thought about. What about even like if do you have family members nearby um that are involved in some of these communities? Like my mom goes to a large church near her, and she's mentioned our business before there. Things like that, right? Those are all within your peripheral network. So write any of those down. Okay, next step. All of those people could have any of these events, right? And you don't even know what events they could have. Your first thought is, oh, they could have a 40th birthday coming up. They could have a graduation. They have teenage kids, so those are things that are obvious. They could also have other random events that don't even have any idea about. Like you have no idea what like school events or team parties that they might be having, right? You have no idea. So you can already think about the events that they might have. And then there's other events that they actually will do. Like people don't know this, but like I throw a Kentucky Derby party almost every year. That's a random event, right? Like we're skipping my daughter's 6th birthday. We're just going to go to Disneyland, and we throw this party, right? So people don't know like what is this random party, right? It's just fun to bet on the horses, right? It's like no one's throwing a party that day. It's just kind of a random thing. But those people have those parties. So now let's connect like who are the people in those circles who are the most social, the planners of those things, right? Um, who are those people that you can connect from your peripheral network, right? So let's go back here to those events, and who are the social ones? So one of my girlfriends is extremely social. She was a teacher. She's been home with her kids, and she does a lot of socializing, and she seems to know everything going on. So she's somebody that I always like try to figure out from her, like what events are going on. She's on the PTA, like she's very dialed in with all these sports things. She knows like my kids are a little younger, so this is like their first and second year in sports. So we're not in all the sports, like we don't know all that stuff. So she knows like, oh, for the softball they do this big thing, and then the basketball leagues they do that. So she's the one who knows like all those things. That is somebody who already has those relationships, and send this person in to like mention to like whoever's the chair of that sports organization. Hey, my friend is she's great. She does these balloons. Can you like reach out to her for your next like big opening ceremonies or whatever, right? Those are the types of people that can help be connectors for you. And then these people who are in your network who are going to do those things, all you need to do is plant that seed, right? At the pickup basketball, if anybody mentions an event, mention this, right? Or in your workout classes. So my Pilates studio hired us for balloons. That is because I offered, hey, like you guys are a new studio. Why don't I post a story or a picture of me doing a workout here, and I can tag you and whatever. And we have a lot of local followers. And then they're like, well, of course, Alexis is here all the time. Why would we not hire her for our event? And then we're, collaborating and all that kind of stuff. So the places that you already go. So like my family and I walked into a new establishment and they do like coffee and stuff. And so we walked in and they also have like a weekend specialty breakfast burritos and they sell them till they run out. And of course, we walk in and they ran out. But they were super nice. We talked to the owners and they gave my daughters a cookie. And so we took a picture, posted it on our social media and said like, hey, like if you ever have any events, think of my business. I'm also a local business owner. Most of my following is like women, moms in the area, whatever. And so, of course, there's like this tagging. Next time we walked in, he was like, we're out of breakfast burritos again, but would you like some lemonade? And we know he knows who we are and we have this relationship. And at some point that's going to shake out, but you've just got to plant those seeds whenever you meet people. Your business is new. I have a business. Let me support your business, right? And it goes both ways. Right. And so those things just start to organically happen. So there may be people that you haven't thought of, people in your area. Next time, like maybe you're just like out for a walk. If you see somebody around, maybe just give them your business card. Hey, like I know we haven't really chatted. I live in the area and this is what I do. Here's my card if you ever have any events or your friends do, right? Just plant that seed. These are your fastest referrals right here. I know this sounds like, oh, this is never going to work. You have to ask for the referral. Okay. And here are some like basic ways to say it. Tell them like what you do. Like if whatever their focus is, maybe they're from your mom network or they're from the Pilates studio or whatever, like, hey, like we do a lot of openings and private parties at local businesses in the area. Will you follow me on Instagram? I'd love for you to see what I do and then like, pop up on your feed. Ask them straight up, can you follow me? And you follow them back and then like all their stuff and then, right? And so promote their business on your profile. There's no reason why you can't do that. With the kids stuff, like, hey, we do a lot of stuff for the sporting events around here. I know your kids are involved in sports. If you ever think of us, like sometimes it's not their budget. It's not so they're pitching on behalf of you. Maybe they're the people who are like they've never thrown a party, they just attend all the parties. Ask them to pitch something because they're going to the parties for like the sports stuff or whatever. Just say, hey, like, I'd really appreciate if you'd mention me. Make sure that they're following you, right? And you could just say, send my Instagram profile. Then they can see my pictures, right? So it makes it easy. It gives them exactly what they should do when they tell somebody about you, right? So some people are like, oh, yeah, I'll tell people about you. And then they don't know what to say about you. Oh, my friend does balloons. Well, so what? Okay, well, whatever. Never mind, right? But if they like, oh, my friend does balloons. Her work is awesome. Go to her Instagram. Let me just send it to you right now. Right. So just give them the exact thing to do and don't make it complicated for them. Make it easy to roll off the tongue for them. You're training them how to pitch you. Right. Any questions about this? Anyone like, okay, I'm never going to do this. This is like so unrealistic. This has to just become part of like, as you're out and about around town, low pressure, right? You don't need to pitch it everywhere you go. You need to do something like like the grocery store when you're in a hurry, like, when you're having a day where you're just out, go ahead, RC.
Um, Ariel, I'm sorry. I know I butchered your name. She had a
You
question.
actually
Who would
didn't.
you
You said
use?
it right.
Okay, awesome. I hate when people say my full name's not Arcee. My name's Arcelia. So when I came to the US, people would butcher it. That's why I like completely just go by Arcee. So I try to not butcher names. But she was asking, who do you usually talk to in these businesses you go to that you know or that know you? So if I just wanted to give my little input. So it just like depends. For example, the day before yesterday, yeah, Sunday, I went with my son to the drive-through, for example. It was a drive-through at Carl's Jr. And I have these magnets in my car. FYI, amazing material. It's magnets for your car with my name, logo, what I do. It says balloon decor in English and Spanish. QR code, very important. QR code. And the girl that was helping me, she was like, "Oh, you do balloons?" And I was like, "Yes." And then, my son handed me a card. I gave it to her. I usually try to give him at least three cards. And I always say, hey, like whenever you're and you're downtown on your break board, scroll down to my stuff. You guys might like, share with your friends. And then the next time I go in, if I see her, then I make the conversation, oh, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. I hope you looked at my stuff. And then obviously other people will be there. And then I don't know. I just, try to remember who I talk to. And then that creates more conversations with other people. If you are
Yeah,
out dining, like obviously at a sit down place, um, then you talk to the server. A lot of them do ask you, like, oh, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So I'll usually be like, oh, I just came from a job. Even if I didn't come from a job, I'm just like, oh, I just, came from a job or whatever. Oh, what do you do? I'm a balloon artist. You have to sometimes open up the conversation of what you want to talk about.
that's awesome.
And
That's awesome
I,
advice. Thank you.
I want to talk about myself.
Where did you get the magnet from?
So I have a local, I'm really big in also using my local businesses. I am part of the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. If you guys have a Chamber of Commerce around you, do your research. If you like what they do, if you, join, from there you get other businesses. I've done a few, like a not a grand opening, but they just celebrated 40 years in business. It's a family Mexican restaurant. They are in their second and third generation running the restaurant. So amazing, that came from that. So I buy the magnets from a local print shop, and he has this, I can't remember, I think it's like 18-inch by 14 or something. They're pretty big. They are really nice quality. I'm not sure the thickness because I know they also go by thickness, but go to a local print shop and just say, I mean, if anybody is interested, let me know and I'll send you a picture, or I'll post it on my stories. Actually, I've done that before because I do get a lot of comments on that. I've had people, you're not going to believe this, but I've had people follow me after like a light or something, try to grab my attention. And I was on my way to pick up my son. I parked, and the lady literally got next to me and was like, I've been following you for 3 blocks, trying to get your attention because I was trying to scan your QR code. That was like insane to me. I would have never done that. I would have never followed someone 3 blocks,
Yeah.
like, but she was having a birthday party, blah, blah, blah. She ended up needing a twister. So I actually sent her to Darren. Hopefully, they did something, but yeah, really effective. Another one, if I may, I'm already talking, Alexis. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go for
I
it.
have this cup. I don't have it, it's in my car, but I have this like 42-ounce, like Stanley looking cup. A cousin of mine makes them with like, however, with whatever you want. She's one of those cup people that makes the cups. So she gifted me a cup where it has my logo, my QR code. Um, Again, I am my business. So I personally like my face on everything. So there's a picture of me on there, and there's a picture of like my most liked um balloon designs. Like I have it varies from like a Hello Kitty one to like a baptism to I wanted it to be different colors and different, men, women. I get asked about that cup all the time, everywhere I go. It doesn't matter where I go, people look at it and they're like, wait, let me see your cup because they see my face on it. People are interested. And then they're like, oh my gosh, where did you get the cup? So I try to make myself very present, and I want people to look at me. Maybe not at me, like when I look like this, but I want people to notice when I'm somewhere. So it might not be for everybody, but I will say it's taken a long time. I know people think like on camera, I may be, but if you ever meet me, I'm actually very, very introverted unless I know you. So I throw yourself out there, in makeup school, they told me, and I will never forget that, and I use that in this business. They always said, when you walk into a job, make sure that they remember you. It might not be your name, they might not remember your name, but they might remember what you were wearing, what you look like, what lipstick you're wearing. For me, I have really natural thick brows. So in the industry, I was always a girl with a brows because if I like do my eyebrows, they're already dark and thick, so they would just get darkened, and I'm all brows. So for me, that worked. So I've learned to have that little niche, or to be like, everywhere I go, people need to know that I showed up, that I'm there, and I need to make sure they remember me. So yeah, everywhere you go, guys, I recommend.
Yeah. We struggle with that. I mean, we did not put our faces out there really early on. And so I would do this every time I walked into an establishment. Oh, your shop's new. Let me post about you, whatever. And they're like, oh, you're South Bay Pop. Like I follow you already. So we have 9,000 something followers. That's a lot for our little area. And so people are always surprised. Oh, you're the face behind it. So it is like a missed opportunity. Like we should have done that a lot sooner, to RC's point. So like if I were starting over, definitely would have like let people know who I am a lot sooner. Um, that's really good on you, Darcy. The other thing is like I don't do this for personal events. I never put our name on anything, but if it's an event that's in the public or like a larger event, so like we do the baseball opening and closing ceremonies, things like that, they'll let us put our logo on there because it's so many families that come through there and we want them to tag us. So that's one way you can kind of like get your name out there without and like let more people know, because it's within your network. Those people know those people, right? It's referral based, right? So if you can't have your face out there, definitely have your name out there. But I would not do that for the personal event. Okay, let's keep going. We've got 15 more minutes. So getting into the right community, so where your future clients are. So you already have that community, work it, right? Now getting into these other communities for early jobs, to Ariel's point, online, these people will book you, right? They're asking, I want something like this. I'm planning this party. Do you have a referral? You can post, but like, so for my friend's dentistry practice, when they see these posts, they just shoot us a text and are like, go reply. And then they have other people, oh, this business is the best. This business. So it's when it comes from a few other people, then people are like, wow, like everyone goes to this person, right? So we definitely want our names on those. We actually like kind of fell off of that for a little bit because we were busy. We're like, we don't need to do this anymore. And then we're like, you know what? Like, we're probably missing out on those extra people. So we just started doing it again. So definitely just be relevant in businesses like that, mommy groups, local groups, like those are the places that you're going to find people. Okay. Now this is something that, Dominique was talking about earlier. So the venues, you got to get in with the venues. Obviously, you know that. So make a list. So if you guys want to just do a quick exercise, like write down venues that you've heard about, that you know about. But then I want you to actually Google like event spaces near me. There are so many more event spaces than you think. So an easy way is like if you walked in there to set up something for a client, you've never had any interaction with that space, do not leave that venue until you've talked to the event planner, the owner of the space, or whoever is the manager at that space. Make sure, hey, I love your space. This is awesome. I'm going to make sure I tag you on my social media. We love doing events. We do a lot of events in the area. Is there a way that I can get on your preferred vendor list? Or like, how do you help your clients find vendors to bring in? Like what's the process here? So sometimes they have a preferred vendor list. Sometimes it's like they can bring in anybody they want. Who do they usually talk to when they're planning their event, right? So that person who's coming in to do their event they oftentimes will just believe that the manager there knows all the things that work. A lot of times these managers are just getting through the day, right? Like they're not thinking about anything else. But if you can just be top of mind, like we have this venue, they have two large event spaces and they always refer us. And so we were in there setting up one morning for a baby shower, and there was another client that they were talking to. They're giving a tour before the client came in. for that day's event. And they're seeing us set up. So they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, that's our main balloon artist. That's who we usually use. And they're like, oh, okay, great. And then so she's telling, oh yeah, we use South Bay Pop for everything, blah, 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 right? And so they can certainly bring in their own vendor, but I was right there. We have a relationship. I've done a bunch of events there. She didn't mention, oh, there's other vendors you can bring in. So that's who we always recommend, right? And so they could see, whereas we're setting up, wow. So build those relationships. Do not leave that venue until you've talked to somebody. And you can so you'll make a list of those other venues. Sometimes it's just strictly a venue, right? And so you're gonna have to do the hard stuff. You're gonna have to call them, email them, try to like, hey, can I have a chat with you, whatever. From an email, they're not gonna remember who you are. They're not gonna remember your name. They're not gonna think about you. If they've met you in person, that's what's gonna make the difference. So if this is also a restaurant, so if I had not been in that venue, I would probably, as I'm in the restaurant dining, ask, hey, like, is there an event manager here? Like, who typically does your event stuff? And just say, hey, can I at least leave my card if they're not here? What's their name? Right. And then you follow up, hey, I was in, like, we had a great time. I go in there all the time with my friends, da da da. And you just like, oh, I'm a local, I'm a regular, like, let's pass business to each other, right? But if they do have a list, try to get on the list, obviously. This is our card. It's very simple. We hand it out everywhere. And then with local, so there'll be a lot of like events that will happen in certain areas. So like the point is a shopping center. I have this point right here. I did the homework for them. I said, do some decor that that is going to catch people's. This is actually old and honestly not very good. But these are the things that we can do when you have the holiday stuff coming up. So when to shine this holiday season. December Saturdays for snow flurries, the block party and toy drive, and the Hanukkah magic event. There are 3 events at this venue over the holidays. So I did the homework for them. These are the days you want to hire me. Right? So we'll come in, we'll try, if we do it inside, we'll make it, if it's in the windows, we'll make it last longer, or all these things, right? Our gift to these local businesses who are participating at this event, we want to give you a 20% discount. And like how we make the displays last longer. This is who we can promote it to come to your store, right? So if you are doing something at one of these things at the one of these events during the venue and people are drawn to come into your place, we're going to help drive them to your space too. This is the reach that we have. And obviously that's no cost. That's just a benefit to partnering, choosing us, right? And so we created 6 of these for the holiday event things going on. And we went and talked to every single person at every single store at these regional things. So there was one that was so in Manhattan Beach, they have the holiday stroll. They had some other holiday stuff that was on that street. So all the small vendors, we walk into every single one. And little trick, bring a kid with you if you have one, right? Let the kid do the pitch. They're going to stop and listen, right? For you, they're like, oh, wait under the manager. And like, no, let me see who's the owner, who's the manager here. And then let the kid do the pitch or like shop around a little, right? And then talk to them. But make sure you talk to somebody and you hand them something, right? So that's just another way to get in to like stores like that. This is a dentist office, right? Like they want to draw attention to this. That's competitive too, right? There's a lot of these businesses are competing for attention, and so make them stand out at times when people are going to be around and haven't really gone in there, right? Okay.
Alexis, so are you printing these?
I printed those. We printed
Oh,
those
cute.
at Office Depot. It was cheap. We didn't spend a lot of money on this. We went to restaurants, we went to the dentist's office, we went to retail stores, we went to, so it all and we had it based on like we labeled it so we knew which set goes to which people, right? And we just like canvassed those areas and made sure, hey, you know who we are, right? No one books on the spot. Keep your expectations low. There's low stakes for you. There's nothing uncomfortable. People are gonna be like, oh wow, so cool. Thank you so much, right? No one's gonna be weird about
I
you.
love that.
Yeah. So make it easy for them to say yes, right? Oh, okay, you're right. I am having an event. Oh yeah, there's gonna be like hundreds of people here. they're going to be outside doing the snow flurry thing. How are you going to get them to come into your store, right? So at those events, there's already people that are not usually like in the area, right? Okay, now the reverse of the vendor list. I love this one. So create a way for people to come to you. This is called a lead magnet. And one of my favorite ways to do that is to create my own preferred vendor list. Okay. So it sounds silly, but what I did was I created a guide. So I had a checklist, and then I had, if I were throwing a kid's birthday, where are all the places that I would go for all budgets, and like what are the things that they're looking for, right? And so in this list, I'm the only balloon artist on there. Okay. Um, of course, right? But I have florists, I have other people on there that are like adjacent. I have catering, I have restaurant venues, I have play places, I have sourced entertainment. I have all those things on the guide. And every single person that I put on the guide, I sent them a message and said, hey, we are a huge fan of your venue or your whatever, and we wanted to include you in our guide. It's a small guide, but I think it's the best of the best that we love to refer, and you're on our list. And so they all reposted the guide because they want people to see that they're on the guide, right? But then they're like, all these people wanted to download the guide too, right? So they're on my email list now too. But this is a way for you to offer something in exchange. Oh, a lot of people look at our guide, I can recommend your venue for this. And they're like, okay, well, great. You're going to say that, right? Are you actually going to like go out and promote how do I know you're going to promote my catering business? Like, well, you're the source. You're the one of two that are on our list, and you can see from our guide, right? And so people are like, oh, wow, we're important to you. You should be on our list, right? So it's a reverse way to do that, right? You can also, so before you give out the guide, I recommend you ask for their email. There's two schools of thoughts here, actually. So one is like, get that email because you want to be able to reach out to those people because they were interested in the guide. They're obviously interested in kids' parties, right? So great to have their contact info for you to reach out, right, and do some marketing to them. Secondarily, if it's not locked, more people will look at the guide. And if they download that guide and save that guide, they might forget where they got that guide. So when they go back to the guide, the fact that you're the only balloon artist on there, they may go, wow, yeah, like I should call these people, right? I'm not going to call around to a couple of people. I'm going to call these people. So I think either way works. I've heard that both ways. So if you are really good about email marketing, capture that lead. If you don't have any leads, capture the lead first. If you never email people and be realistic about that, maybe leave the guide as a link on your social media. And so be like, wow, they're offering me these valuable resources. I'm definitely going to follow them. I want more of this. What about a seasonal lead magnet too? One that's timely. So graduation, this guide is completely different than the kids guide. The venues are different. The catering's different. The things that I recommend in there are completely different. So if you didn't catch someone's attention for the kids party guide, maybe the grad guide is going to be something, and that's going to give you a very specific list of people that are the right people too. So this is a way to like get inbound. You build it once, you put it out there, right? Good way to get more traction back. Has anyone tried this? So same thing, like these are new venues where you can recommend, and some people are gonna do house parties too, right? So like for house parties, like sending the catering there, venues, whatever, right? And florals or like the lays, things like that. You're gonna have other things that are gonna be grad specific that are not gonna be in the kids' party guide.
Question.
Yeah.
So you've used their services or you met them? Or how did you?
Most of the people so I have kids, I've thrown a bunch of kids' parties everywhere. So all of those venues that I listed on there were ones that I've either thrown a party at or been to a kids' party for. And I thought they did a good job. And of course, while I'm there, I'm like, oh, hey, if you have other events, right? So there's this relationship that started. Most of them I know beyond going to the venue. For other vendors, for catering, for florals, we meet a lot of vendors on site while we're setting up for an event. So those are the people that, oh, thanks, Ariel. Thanks for coming. Those are the people that we refer because we asked like, okay, so we just met one who was opening her own venue, but she's been in catering for a long time. And so we're like, and she invited us to come check out her venue, and then we can put our flyers there. We're like, oh wow, that's awesome. Like that's already she's offering this trade. And so we're like, look, we're gonna add you to our guide. We saw the display that she put out. It looked amazing. She was super professional. We could just tell that like she was quality because we want to be associated with quality, not necessarily the most expensive, but quality, right? So we're referring people to the right people. She was super nice and professional. And so we liked her, right? And then we have other people, we've seen them at a bunch of other parties. And so we keep seeing them, right? Maybe they weren't the friendliest because they were serious getting ready. And then we're like, oh, we keep seeing you. People keep hiring you. We talk to the client about them. Like, okay, they're good vendors for that, even if we haven't hired them. So it's a mishmash of that, but pretty much everybody who's made it to the guide, we've met. Any questions? Okay. All right. And then this is the most obvious one. This is the most annoying one. I have a trick for this, but I find social media to be a burden. I feel like having to come up with content and being creative is very difficult. For South Bay Pop, we have just literally posted like what we've created, right? Like this is what we
I
created. We've
can't
done a
see
little
you,
behind
man.
the scenes. We've done, basic stuff. And we have the content because we have the clients now. But if I were starting over, you need to create more content out of less, right? Some of that could be the guide related stuff, like being an expert in your area, those kinds of things. So here are 20 content ideas. Here are the first 15. There's nothing shocking here, but having it written down, you might be like, okay, I haven't done that. Let me just do that. Most of these you probably have seen them online, but you haven't done them yourself, right? And so these are just some basic ideas. So obviously the reveal. So showing some detail and then showing the big reveal. Or showing like the balloons on the floor and then how that fully came in to be this wow moment, right? Before and after, like a lot, the snapping, like that kind of, all those things, like you've seen them online, but maybe you haven't done it yourself. Um, the point of view, the time lapse, the breakdown. Actually, we have a lot of people. We were doing these popping videos, like just popping the balloons, and we would get the customers to pop the balloons. So sometimes, like some of the men, like this one man, he pulled out a knife and he's there popping the balloons, right? And sometimes the women are like, "We need that therapy. We need to pop the balloons," right? So some people like that. Those videos early on got a lot of views, and then people would comment these things. I'm like, is this fetish? Am I in a fetish category now? Like, what is happening? Like, people like these videos, but they would get views. There wasn't anything revealing about what we were doing. Like, we weren't doing anything weird with the balloons. We were just popping them or speed popping them or timing ourselves, like those kinds of things. So it was kind of funny and awkward to do them, but they did get views. And like, I'm like, okay, we could totally have an OnlyFans account where we just pop balloons, but we won't go there. So even silly things like that, you can totally do. Playing with color variation. So like even using like the Fanfaire Design Studio, like show a few color variations, like of what you thought of and then what you actually did, right? Those kinds of things are fun. The client reaction, I love to see the client reaction. Like that is like why we do this. It can be so frustrating, time consuming, and like all these things to like set up an event with like when things go wrong, right? And then when you see the client reaction, you're like, that was all worth it, right? So if you can record their reaction, or even just like funny things, like if you've been in a weird situation, you've thought about it, like, okay, there's all these people who are watching me create this setup right now. Like filming like the 20 people watching you set up. Like if we've ever been in that situation before, like these are very relatable things. People love to see what things cost, like what I charge versus what people think. I would stay away from like mistakes to avoid and that kind of stuff. I mean, I have it in here, but like oh, so book decor, don't book decor without like adding custom lettering, sure, right? But if you start to become a an educator on how to do balloons, you're in the educator category or the DIY category. Those are not your clients. So be cautious with that one, right? Like that is you do not want to be showing people how to do it. Either you're selling DIY kits, and I tried that too. We tried selling DIY kits and full installs, and you're juggling two different things. They should almost essentially be two different businesses. If you're an educator, that should be different, right? So Alyssa actually recently made her own personal profile separate from her business profile because you're getting the wrong clients and just messing up your algorithm. Yeah, things that mock up to reality, theme ideas, those ones I feel like I really get sucked into. Like I want to know what themes people are doing and what details did they use. Venue feature, do this for sure, because you're driving business to that venue. You're showing that you work with these venues locally. You have their reach as well because they'll add you as a collaborator. It's not all about you, right? Obviously collaborating, seasonal related stuff. So holiday things, recycle stuff from years before, or like things that baby showers that you've done in the past. That gives people ideas, and then they're like inspired to go like look at like how can they book with you. Frequently asked questions, sure. Behind the scenes, like I think people still like to see that. I feel like it's gotten a little old, but maybe like an impact, like a garland versus like a backdrop with a garland. Like what's the impact on the photo moment? Quick tips again. Keep this very your target audience, right? Like how to make your setup look more premium. Like add the florals, like add the starburst, like you do these things X, Y, and Z. Like add the the rug underneath the backdrop, things like that. And then also definitely like how do they book with you? That should be in your Instagram profile, but like definitely like draw them to book with you. So in your more educational or like, not the main post, like, happy birthday or whatever, the ones that you're posting that are like extras, make your call to action, book with us, right? So the things that are going to make the bigger impact, tag the venue, tag the vendors, add them as collaborators. Oh, always, if there's a catering person there and you do a little reel of that, like people want to see what the whole venue or the whole event was, not just the balloons. Like get the picture of the food, get the little cute signage that they did, like get the entrance, like get all of that. And then tag all those vendors because they're going to repost it and then people are going to know about you. Add the venue location, search for that first. And if you cannot find that, then do the city. Try to use hashtags that are related to that, but then use consistent ones. So we always do like South Bay Pop, South Bay Events, South Bay Balloons, things like that. But then related to like what the theme is, right? And then the visual hook thing, I am not an expert at that, but I've been working on that. A lot of people on Instagram already have all these great hook ideas. So definitely steal some of those hooks. Sorry, I thought I saw a question. Let's just see. You're doing a Google review of a venue, and then Constance, you want to explain what you do? And you're adding the pictures there. So they'll find you from the venue instead. That's a good idea.
Yes. So I've noticed, I mean, I think it's because of like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it in marketing without sounding too complicated, but because it adds like it tags me, the person reviewing, as on Google, I've noticed I've been getting more referrals from Google because it's not only tagging me as like a reviewer of the location, but then they see my work. And so through that, they find my website and then they're filling out my contact form. You know what I mean? And I'm getting business. So I've noticed, especially even though I only do thrones, but like the whole setup with the throne, it'll be my balloons, it'll be the throne and everything. And so I think that's like a kind of like a marketing hack. Especially if you have a Google My Business thing also, then that you can add that to it and it helps you get more traffic to your business. And then also sometimes the business will reach out if it is a venue and say, oh, thank you so much. Like, thank you for visiting our location. So then that makes it makes my review and my business even more visible online. So
But
that was just like a tip.
okay, so the review is from Constance, and you say, "Hey, I was at XYC venue. The staff was amazing. What an amazing party. We delivered the throne with the balloons. If you need that in the future, what do you like?"
Oh yeah, like I'll say staff was amazing or a beautiful location because it'll ask you questions when you do a Google review. And then I'll say the staff was amazing, beautiful location or great customer service if I had a good interaction with like with anybody on site. And then I'll also say so can't wait to like work there again. And then I'll put the name of my business or like my website. So
Mhm.
it's like within my review I'm also tagging myself.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Great,
you know,
great. Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's great.
so it puts it out there in two ways, not only for people that are searching the venue, looking for, because I do it. I look up a venue or I look up a location and then I'm immediately going to the pictures and I'm immediately going to, well, what's people's experience there, and usually the 5-star review, and I always do 5 stars because
Yeah,
usually the 5-star reviews are always at the top.
right.
So
Yeah, yeah.
that's kind of a
Like I
hack.
would, I would not put your business associated with anything less than 5 stars anyway, right?
Yeah,
That's a bad idea.
true.
They're like, we hate that business. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So
Um,
what about on the, so now that you got me my wheels turning, what about like having the event manager reviewing your business too, right?
yeah,
Say, I'm the
yeah,
event manager at XYZ location. We always have this business at our venue. They've done so many amazing events. Here's a couple pictures, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That would be next level to ask that from the
yeah.
venue. That's a good
That's
idea.
a good idea. I
Yeah.
did have a question also. How do you separate like, because I'm kind of in a similar situation where it's like, how do you se I heard you say that like you have your fanfare as a DBA of your business, but how do you separate those two hats? Like, how do you manage that? Do you have like certain days that you focus on balloons and then you have certain days that you focus on like the education part of it?
Well, so they're completely different businesses. Fanfaire is a software company, right? And then South Bay Pop is a local event decor business. So Fanfaire is a C corporation, and South Bay Pop is a completely separate LLC. They have
Oh,
nothing
okay.
to do with each other.
Oh, okay. I must have misheard you then.
That's
Sorry.
okay. So I said I was having struggles with naming my business earlier when Kathy was asking about that. And so my business was named something else. And so we rebranded to Fanfare, and that is a DBA of the main name, but the filing for the C Corp is so extensive that it's impossible to change it. You just do a DBA.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Snooks
Got
and
it.
Regina, I just want to let you know that we started this an hour and 15 minutes ago and we're wrapping up, but we do have this recorded. So I'm just going to wrap this up. Um, so there's a company called Enji that helps with it does it for you. So Enji is the only project management tool that brings planning and doing your marketing together, helping you write, schedule, post, and track all in one place. So for early stage businesses or businesses who do not want to do their social media marketing, which is really an Achilles heel for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Like, I'm cool to just post an event that I did that I'm excited about right then. But beyond that, I really haven't done a lot. This creates the strategy. So it figures out when to post what and all that. And then it writes and posts the whole thing on social. So I'm sure you've seen like other AI things that will do this. The founder of this came from the wedding industry. The way that she's infused this into AI to do the writing is really meant for businesses like us, and then it tracks the results. So if you're looking for something to help do this for you, obviously like you gotta like make sure that it's saying the right things about your business as you get it going. But it figures it out. Like the first time I used it, I was like, whoa, I did not need to train it like I had to train ChatGPT. So it figures out really quickly. And then it's $19 for the first 12 months or $189 for the first year with this discount code that I have. So if that is of something of interest, they have a free trial. You should totally check it out. It just makes it simple, and it's done by someone who is an expert in marketing. So I am friends with the female founder. She is awesome. She has had consulting businesses working with like all of the top like wedding people. She's fantastic. And so to have her brain infused into the software product is really cool. So definitely check that out. I'm gonna put the link in the chat here. And then so that was just to dovetail on the social media stuff. The last piece of advice for marketing is just have business cards on you everywhere you go and hand those out. And with the establishments that you have a relationship with, a lot of them will say, oh, if you have any flyers or any, so that is so generous that people would think to put your flyers in their store. There, whether it's a workout studio, a retail shop, whatever it is, a med spa, like those are the places where our clients are probably hanging out. They like beautiful things, right? They care about aesthetics. I would recommend this little like acrylic signage instead, because the flyers end up on the floor, or you think that they're taken, or they end up like scrunched. You got to pay money to print them out. This is so much cheaper. These are like $14.99, and you just put a couple in a few of the establishments that you normally go to, and that will last so much longer than having these papers printed out all the time. And they don't want the mess on their counter either, right? So, and even like at larger events, they'll say, oh, you can leave your business card behind. Like, oh, can I? Okay, well then can I just leave this little like sign here, and like I can grab it from you another time? Something like that is also good to just like have as further marketing. Does anybody do this? No? I'm sure you've been offered to leave your flyers somewhere and you're like, oh, I'll get around to it. Like, I got to print this thing, right? So something like that might be a good option. Okay. So Fanfaire is meant for balloon artists. I'm going to wrap this up here. I think you saw at the very beginning, I offer a free mini store. So that mini store comes with all the lead capture and tracking for your clients. So if you do not have a website and you're telling people to DM you, this is free for life. Go sign up. And when you're ready, you can experience what the rest of the platform has to offer. One being our design studio, then our collaboration tier, and then the full store. If you're newer, I would not start with the full store. I would start with the design studio, get some clients, and then move up. So that is a wrap. Any questions for those who missed it? I know you guys, some